It's time for the League Lowdown!
CDS Wealth Management is a proud sponsor of the League Lowdown.
Week 4 Insiders, the Suburban One League is serving up more drama than a reality TV finale. Welcome back to the League Lowdown. I'm your host, Coach Mayhem, and always next to me, the guy who's seen more sideline tantrums than a ref at a Pee Wee game, Suburban One Insiders, OG.
Hey man, what's up? I'm pumped to be back, ready to break down this week's chaos and upsets and the absolute beasts that are out there lighting up the field last week.
Oh, we got plenty to talk about, OG. Week 3 shook up the rankings like a linebacker hitting a running back in the hole. We had upsets, blowouts, and some kids putting up video game numbers. Let's dive into the weekly recap and unpack the madness. First up, Ben Salem soared over Abington, 24-11. Aiden Mayfield was a one-man wrecking crew, racking up 96 yards and a touchdown on only 8 carries. Quarterback Miles Annan wasn't messing around either. This kid went 90 yards, had a score on the ground, and a passing touchdown. Thomas Bailey chipped in with 56 yards to keep those chains moving, all on a broken foot. Injured foot, I should say. Not broken. And the Owls are 2-1. They're looking sharp. While Abington's limping a little bit heading into conference play, but it is a different Abington team, so we shall see.
Yeah, tough day for Abington, but big props for Ben Salem. Their ground game is something special. They were running like they were being chased by a bunch of ghosts.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, Happer Horsham still searching for that W after a gut punch loss, 21-17 to Lansdale Catholic. Man, the Hatters were up 17-14 with a minute and 22 left, thinking they had it in the bag. Then, Yaboa Cable Jr. says, not today, busting 24-yard first down on 4th and 15 to keep the Lansdale Catholic drive alive. 6 plays later, he was dancing in the end zone on a 25-yard scamper. Hatboro's 0-3, man, but what a game.
Heartbreaker for the Hatters, for sure. They had him and didn't come through, but Cobalt Jr. was like a superhero out there, cape and all.
Absolutely, my friend, absolutely. Over at Plymouth Whitemarsh, the Colonials finally got a dub, edging Interboro 26-23. Michael Giangiulio, hope I got that right, ran wild for 184 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dude was unstoppable. Amir Butler and Giangiulio also combined for 22 tackles on defense. PW's got the momentum heading into conference play, so we shall see.
Big shout out to Giangiulio. That kid team like it's his day job. Meanwhile, William Tennant's still winless after Chichester smoked them 48-14. Tough sledding for the Panthers, but at least they've got that sledding hill right by their stadium.
Wissahickon, though, man, they are cooking. 3-0 after torching Archbishop Carroll 38-14. Evan Tolmie and Quentin West were straight up electric, hooking up 6 times for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dom Harvey Shepard bulldozed for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. While Quasir Sampson added 83 yards on the ground. Man, these Trojans are a problem, OG.
Juggernauts, Mayhem. All right, and don't sleep on Rock South. They snapped a 12-game losing streak against Pennsbury, 20-6. Shane Myers is a dual threat star, 95 rushing yards, TD on the ground, and a score through the air from Marley Emerson, their QB. That defense locked Pennsbury down like Fort Knox.
Absolutely, man.
To Giangiulio, that kid's carrying the team like it's his day job. Meanwhile, William Tennant's still winless after Chichester smoked them 48-14. Tough sledding for the Panthers, but at least they've got that sledding hill right by their stadium.
Absolutely. Wissahickon, though, man, they are cooking. 3-0 after torching Archbishop Carroll 38-14. Evan Tolmie and Quentin West were straight up electric, hooking up 6 times for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dom Harvey Shepard bulldozed for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. While Quasir Sampson added 83 yards on the ground. Man, these Trojans are a problem, OG.
Straight up juggernauts, Mayhem. All right, and don't sleep on Rock South. They snapped a 12-game losing streak against Pennsbury, 20-6. Shane Myers is a dual threat star, 95 rushing yards, TD on the ground, and a score through the air from Marley Emerson, their QB. That defense locked Pennsbury down like Fort Knox.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of defenses, CB South blanked Upper Dublin, 21-0. Titans held the Cardinals to 97 total yards and the jaw-dropping, wait for it, negative 17 yards rushing. Yep. Gavin Graham was a beast, gashing for 137 yards and a touchdown on just 8 carries. Cade Krim aired it out, hitting James Schaefer for a 76-yard bomb, and Titans are rolling, OG.
Well, in that Battle of the Moorlands, Upper Moreland wasn't playing very nice either, shutting out their lower Moreland friends 47-0. Golden Bears' balanced attack had the Lions looking like kittens. The Springfield Township, they crushed New Hope Solbury 54-8. Zymir Small, insane, 231 yards on 12 carries with, get this, 6 touchdowns. That's not a stat line. That's a highlight reel.
CB West kept that shutout party going too, blanking Souderton 13-0. Louis Sapolo scampered for a touchdown, and Mason Darrows nailed 2 field goals. Man, that Bucks D is nastier than a locker room after 2-a-days, if you know what I mean. Man, they're rolling 2-1, and I think they're starting to catch steam.
Next, Central Bucks High School East is undefeated after obliterating Rock North 50-8. Michael Price was a one-man show, 85 yards, 2 tutties, including a 61-yard sprint. Patriots racked up 249 on the ground. Now moving on to Penn Ridge, they stayed perfect, handling Truman 41-12. Noah Keating was surgical, 4 for 6 passing, 75 yards, 2 passing TDs, plus 44 yards on the ground and 2 scores on the ground for that Noah Keating guy.
Keating was lights out. And then we had a upset alert. Neshaminy sitting pretty at 2-0, got rocked by 0-2 Cheltenham, 38-29. Big congrats to Coach Terrence Tolbert for his first W with the Panthers. Man, and that's why we love this game, OG. Anybody can ball out on any given Friday.
That was an upset, I'll tell you that much. But you never root against Cheltenham, man. They got some athletes, and they got a good coach in Coach Terrence Tolbert right now. All right, absolute madness and your game of the week. North Penn ran Quakertown out of their own building, 42-7. The Knights trio of Matt Pownell, Cam Rayner, and Riley Gray were unstoppable. Pownell had 78 yards and a rushing TD and a 17-yard receiving TD. Maynor, 6 touches, 2 TDs, and over 100 yards. Now Gray, 100-plus total yards, a score, and lockdown D in the secondary. Oh, and keep an eye on Zion Smith. He's just a sophomore. Coach Beck says he's the real deal.
That's the recap, folks. We're taking a quick breather to hear from our sponsors, and when we're back, OG's dropping us some knowledge with the history lesson, breaking down the top 11 players he's seen in the Suburban One League tenure. Don't touch that skip button.
Want to see more of your game insiders? Check out the link galleries of DAHC images, photos by Tom, and Trisha Lynn photography by finding your power-packed action shots at www.suburban1insider.com.
All right, insiders, it's time for my OG's history lesson. I'm going to take you back through the SOL and the archives to talk about the 11 baddest dudes I've seen lace them up in the league. Now, I know not everybody's going to agree with my top 11. I get it. Reach out on Instagram and let me know who I should have added over the last 40 years in the SOL. All All right, so number one, I got Brian Scott, Central Bucks East graduate. He went on to play football at Penn State, played for the Bills and the Falcons. When he was 15, in ninth grade at Tamanin Middle School, I was substitute teaching there. I watched him stand underneath the basket, jump in the air. Oh, by the way, he was facing the other direction, spin at the apex, and dunk the ball. It was absolutely ridiculous how athletic he was. All right, number two, I'm going to go with Mike Frederick. Mike Frederick played in the Chamonix back in the day. My first high school start against the Chamonix. And Mike Frederick and some guy named James Franklin, they had the better of us in that game. The Chamonix beat the Chamonix beat CB West that year, 1989. All right, Dustin Pachotti, maybe one of the most fierce running backs of all time in the SOL. He played at CB West, went on to have a good career at Pitt and then Rhode Island after some injuries sidelined him, but still the baddest dude you've ever seen on the football field in the SOL. All right, Brandon McElwain, Council Rock North, quarterback, do everything for your team kind of guy. He went to South Carolina, transferred out to Cal at Berkeley, and he's been playing minor league baseball for a number of years. Great kid, great athlete, and really made a name for himself at Rock North. All right, number five, I got Dave Armstrong, another bad dude from CB West back in the day. Multiple year state champion, was an unbelievable wrestler, fullback, was the head coach at Wood for a period of time. He went to Michigan out of high school, had a great career there, on and off the field, then transferred to Bloomsburg his senior year. Not a lot of people realize that. Transfer to Bloomsburg was, excuse me, a D2 All-American. All right, I got to throw a big guy on there. I've talked about him before on the show. I'm going with number 6, Mike Mooseburger. Moose. Mike's the strength and conditioning coach and offensive line coach CB East currently. He's still a bad dude. I wouldn't mess with that guy in a dark alley. He went to East and had a great career at Wake Forest. All right, number 7, C-Ray, they call him. Craig Reynolds, one of the best running backs this league's seen, played at Abington, went on to Kutztown, went to the Commanders, and now he's with the Lions. I believe he's a special teams captain and gets a lot of touches in running back because running backs seem to get banged up all the time. So the Lions used him quite a lot towards the end of the year last year. All right, here's a name that not everybody's going to know. Kevin Akins went to North Penn, played at Boston College, outside linebacker, played offense. Stud athlete at North Penn in the late 90s, early 2000s. All right, here's a name that if you're a football fan, you definitely know. His name's Troy Vincent. He's involved with the NFL Players Association. He went to Pennsbury, class of like 88, and then went on to Wisconsin and then played a heck of an NFL career for the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to stay in that defensive back realm and go with Sean Wooden. He went to Abington High School, played at Notre Dame, played for the Dolphins for a lot of years and the Bears. One of my prized possessions in this world is a picture at the coin toss my senior year, CB West at Abington, and I'm there with Sean Wooden. It was a pretty amazing day. All right, and you kind of have to add a kicker. All right, I was an offensive lineman. I was a long snapper, so I appreciate what kickers do. But probably the best kicker, besides the Barr brothers that were in the Chamonix in the 70s that went on to great NFL fame. I didn't get to see them in my lifetime, but Brandon McManus from North Penn. Went to Temple, was not only the punter, the extra point guy, but he also did kickoffs. And so think about that. One guy doing all 3 jobs at Division I level. Went on to have a great career in the NFL with Denver, and now he's currently with the Green Bay Packers. So that's my top 11. I'm going to get some riffraff on it. I expect that. I know that there's some guys out there that probably are watching this that think they deserve to be on this list, but I can't make it all guys I played with or coached in their lifetime. They know that. They know I care about them. But there's more than 11, but that's my top 11 as I see it over the years in the SOL.
All right. I'm going to go with a timeout, OG. Time to stretch those legs, hydrate, and get ready for our fun part, our Week 4 picks. Let's hit a commercial and finish out strong.
CDS Wealth Management is a proud sponsor of the League LowDown.
All right, we're back, insiders. Before we get to our picks, though, let's see where everyone is headed in what's mostly conference play this week, with the exception of our American Conference. Abington is heading to historic War Memorial Field to take on Central Bucks West. Quakertown will travel to Bensalem, and we got a battle of the Central Bucks teams. We have Central Bucks East traveling to Warrington to take on Central Bucks South.
All right, we got the Panthers of Cheltenham heading to Council Rock South, 7 p.m. Friday night. Be on the lookout for Mayhem because it's his game of the week. You can also look out for his preview interview or preview article and live updates before and during the game. Rock North heading to Upper Dub. Souderton going to see Harry Truman.
Then Hatboro Horsham is at home defending against West Philadelphia. Lower Moreland is at Springfield Township, and North Penn takes on the Chamonix. That's going to be a good one.
All right, you got the Battle of the Pens. You got the Ridge versus the Bury at Pennsbury, Penridge at Pennsbury on Friday night. P-Dub traveling to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to play Manheim Township. And then Ereboro, the Bucks, are coming up to Upper Moreland.
Yep. And then William Tennant is at Haverford. Wissahickon will travel to Sun Valley. And New Hope Soulbury takes on Thomas Edison High School at 12 p.m. on Saturday. Last week, OG, you bested me 3-1 while I went 2-2. My pride was hurt, but I'm coming for redemption this week. Let's pick some games. All right. Looking at that schedule, I'm going to say let's go Quakertown at Bensalem. The Owls are definitely flying high, but Quakertown's defense is like trying to run through a brick wall. I know they're coming off a big loss, but I'm taking Quakertown by a whisker in a grinder.
Flag on the play, Mayhem. Come on now. Bensalem all the way in this one. They're going to win it with an impressive victory over Quakertown.
All right. All right. All right, let's see. Next, let's go. Ooh, here we go. CB East at CB South. East is clicking on all cylinders, and that defense is scarier than my old high school coach's clipboard, my friend. Whew. South's got heart, man. I'm rolling with East on this one, though, in a close one, because I think it's going to be a battle.
All right, I'm saying I agree, maybe. I don't know. To me, this is a pick'em game. I know East is undefeated. South got their first win. I think the Titan Terror, the student section at CB South, might be the deciding factor. And I'm going to say Titans by a point or two. That's what I think.
All right, all right. Well, let's see. Let's go West Philadelphia at Hatboro Horsham. And I'm going with this game because I'm going to call it right now. Hatters get their first W. They're due, and I'm feeling that home field energy.
All right, here comes the Speed Boys. That's their nickname coming out of West Philly High. I think that West Philly is trying to prove something when they come out to the suburbs, especially on a Friday night. But I'm going to say Hatters get the win in a very close battle. All right, my turn again. I'm going to say, let's go with Springfield Township at Lower Moreland. I think Springfield's offense is a freight train. Zymir Smalls is running like he's got rockets in his cleats. I'm going to take Springfield in a blowout.
Same OG. Springfield by a mile. All right, final game. Plymouth White Marsh at Manheim Township. I'm riding the Colonials hot hand for win number 2 on this one, man.
All right, I'm a big Colonials fan. I think Dan Chang does a great job, but the Blue Streaks are a tough opponent. I student taught at Manheim Township way back when, and I've always been a fan of them. Always look on Friday night, Saturday morning, see how the Blue Streaks do. I think the Blue Streaks are going to win this one in a close one. But hey, ma'am, who's the most famous alumni for Manheim Township?
Man, I don't know.
How about if I say the hint is golf?
Oh, well, since this is kind of about football, I'm going to have to go and say, I have no clue, my friend.
All right, so the most famous alumni is Jim Furyk, who was a great PGA golfer. And the only reason I bring it up is because when us guys get old and we're done playing football, you got to turn to another sport, competitive and fun at the same time. So I keep up with my golf knowledge too.
I completely understand. All right, well, that's a wrap for week 4, Insiders. Make sure to be following us on all our socials for the latest Suburban One League scoops. I'm Coach Mayhem, still recovering from OG's Pick'em beatdown.
And I'm OG, reminding you to keep it locked in on the League Lowdown. Insiders out.